Chapter 19. A letter, edged in black, announced the day of my master's return. Isabella had died, and he wrote instructing me to procure mourning clothes for his daughters and prepare room and other accommodations for his young nephew. Catherine was overjoyed at the thought of welcoming her father back, and was filled with hopeful expectations about the countless virtues of her real cousin. The evening of their anticipated arrival came. Since early morning she had been busy organizing her own small affairs. Now dressed in a new black dress. Poor thing, her aunt's death didn't bring her any real sorrow. She insisted with relentless persistence that I walk with her through the grounds to meet them. Linton is just 6 months younger than I am. She chatted excitedly as we wandered leisurely over the undulating mossy ground beneath the tree's shade. It'll be wonderful to have him as a playmate. Aunt Isabella sent Papa a lovely lock of his hair. It's lighter than mine, more flaxen and just as fine. I've kept it safe in a little glass box, and I've often imagined how delightful it would be to meet him. Oh, I'm so happy. And Papa, dear, dear Papa. Come on, Ellen, let's run. Come, run. She dashed off, returning and running again several times before my steady steps brought me to the gate. Then she sat on the grassy bank beside the path, trying to wait patiently. But it was impossible for her to stay still even for a moment. "They're taking so long," she exclaimed. "Ah, I see some dust on the road. They're coming. No, wait, when will they be here? Can't we go a little way? Just half a mile, Ellen, only half a mile? Please say yes to that clump of birches at the turn." I stood firm in my refusal. Finally, her anticipation came to an end. The travelling carriage appeared in the distance. Miss Cathy let out a shriek and reached out her arms the moment she saw her father's face in the window. He stepped out, almost as eager as she was, and for a while they were lost in each other, oblivious to the world around them. While they exchanged affectionate greetings, I took a moment to check on Linton. He was asleep in a corner, wrapped snugly in a fur-lined cloak, as if it were the depths of winter. A pale, delicate boy with an effeminate air. He could easily have been mistaken for my master's younger brother, so striking was the resemblance. Yet there was a sickly irritability in his expression that Edgar Linton never possessed. Edgar noticed me observing and, after shaking hands, suggested I close the door to let Linton rest undisturbed, as the journey had worn him out. Cathy wanted to take a quick look, but her father called her away, and they walked together up the park while I hurried ahead to alert the servants. "Now, my dear," Mr. Linton said to his daughter as they paused at the foot of the front steps. "Your cousin isn't as strong or as cheerful as you, and remember, he's just lost his mother not long ago, so don't expect him to play and run around with you right away. And try not to overwhelm him with chatter. Let him have some peace this evening, all right?" "Yes, yes, Papa," Catherine replied. "But I really want to see him. He hasn't even looked out once." The carriage came to a stop, and as the sleeper was gently awakened, his uncle lifted him to the ground. "This is your cousin Cathy, Linton," he said, gently bringing their small hands together. "She already cares about you, so make sure you don't upset her by crying tonight. Try to be cheerful now. The journey's over, and all you need to do is relax and enjoy yourself." "Then let me go to bed," the boy replied, pulling away from Catherine's greeting, and wiping away the tears that threatened to fall. "Come now, be a good child," I whispered, guiding him inside. "You'll make her cry too. Look how concerned she is for you." I couldn't tell if it was genuine concern for him, but his cousin wore a face as somber as his own and returned to her father. The three of them entered and went up to the library, where tea was already set. I helped Linton off with his cap and cloak and seated him at the table. But as soon as he sat down, he began to cry again. My master asked what was wrong. "I can't sit on a chair," the boy sobbed. "Then go to the sofa, and Ellen will bring you some tea," his uncle replied patiently. I could tell he had been sorely tested during the journey by his irritable, ailing charge. Linton slowly dragged himself over and lay down. Kathy brought over a footstool and her cup, settling beside him. At first, she was quiet, but that couldn't last long. She had decided to make a pet of her little cousin, molding him into the cherished figure she envisioned. She began to gently stroke his curls, kiss his cheek, and offer him tea from her saucer as if he were a child. This delighted him, for he was not much more than a child himself. He wiped his eyes and managed a faint smile. "He'll be just fine," the master remarked to me, after observing them for a moment. "He'll do well if we can keep him, Ellen. Having a companion his own age will soon breathe new life into him, and by yearning for strength, he'll find it." "Yes, if we can keep him," I pondered, silently, feeling a wave of doubt wash over me, suspecting there was little chance of that. I wondered how such a frail boy would survive at Wuthering Heights, with his father and Hareton as his companions and mentors. What kind of influences would they be? Our uncertainties were resolved sooner than I had anticipated. I had just taken the children upstairs after tea, ensuring Linton was asleep. He wouldn't let me leave until he was. I had come back down and was standing by the table in the hall, lighting a candle for Mr. Edgar's bedroom, when a maid emerged from the kitchen to inform me that Mr. Heathcliff's servant, Joseph, was at the door, requesting to speak with the master. "I'll ask him what he wants first," I said, feeling quite uneasy. It's a strange hour to be bothering people, especially right after they've returned from a long journey. I doubt the master will see him. As I spoke, Joseph had made his way through the kitchen and now stood in the hall. He was dressed in his Sunday best, wearing a look of utmost piety and sourness. With his hat in one hand and his stick in the other, he began wiping his shoes on the mat. "Good evening, Joseph," I said coolly. "What brings you here tonight?" "I need to speak to Master Linton," he replied, dismissing me with a wave. "Mr. Linton is heading to bed. Unless it's urgent, I'm sure he won't hear you now," I continued. "You should sit down and let me deliver your message." "Which room is his?" the man persisted, eyeing the closed doors. Realizing he was determined to bypass me, I reluctantly went up to the library to announce the untimely visitor, suggesting he be sent away until the next day. Mr. Linton didn't have a chance to authorize me to do so, as Joseph followed closely behind and barged into the room. He stationed himself on the far side of the table, resting his fists on his stick, and began speaking loudly, as if expecting resistance. Heathcliff sent me for his boy, and I can't leave without him." Edgar Linton remained silent for a moment, his face shadowed by profound sorrow. He felt pity for the child on his own behalf, but thoughts of Isabella's dreams and fears for her son, her earnest wishes for his well-being, and her trust in Edgar's care weighed heavily on him. The thought of surrendering the boy filled him with deep grief, and he searched his heart for a way to prevent it. Yet, no solution presented itself. Any attempt to express a desire to keep the child would only make the demand for his return more insistent. There was no choice but to let him go. Still, he would not disturb the boy's sleep. "Inform Mr. Heathcliff," he replied with calm resolve, "that his son will come to Wuthering Heights tomorrow. He is asleep now and too exhausted to make the journey. You may also tell him that Linton's mother wished for him to stay under my care, and currently his health is quite fragile." "No," Joseph declared, striking the floor with his stick and adopting a commanding stance. "No, that means nothing. Heathcliff cares nothing for the mother, nor for you either, but he will have his boy, and I must take him. So now you know." "You shall not tonight," Linton declared firmly. "Go downstairs immediately and relay my words to your master. Ellen, show him out. Go." With a firm grip on the elder's arm, he helped him out of the room and shut the door behind him. "Very well," Joseph shouted as he slowly retreated. "Tomorrow he'll come himself, and throw him out if you dare."